I never thought I'd be able to have this opportunity in my life. Recently, I've been watching a YouTuber, or a business YouTuber, known as Corridor Crew. On the Corridor Crew YouTube page the other day, they posted a video that sparked not only my interest, but probably most of the people who watch Corridor Crew. They have a particular issue with too much work, not enough staff to work on it. And they've basically said, here's some footage from a video that was never released. Edit it, send it to us. Quite a bit of work to do. And there's 15 days to do it, which is their usual time frame for a video, which is 2 weeks. If I get the job, I might have to move out to LA. Goodbye, England. It's currently 10 past 11. I've done about 15 minutes worth of footage, and there's still another 48 to go. It's good fun though. I really like their content. So there's essentially 2 segments to this. So there's one that seems a little bit more higher energy, and then there's also, and my laptop's running out of power. Save. Oh god, oh god, oh god. And the light died and my camera's almost dead. Right, I'm gonna stop recording. Okay, day 1 done. It's currently 12:30 in the morning. I've got the video down from 48 minutes to 29 minutes and 45 seconds. I kind of hope that I could probably slice it down just a little bit longer. But other than that, I'm actually a little bit proud of it. But currently, because it's 12:30, I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, so we're currently on day 2 of the edit. I think the main thing currently is just looking for sound effects, because I got everything into its right place. I'm going to try trimming down the content a little bit. For a vlog type video is a little bit too long. I'm then going to go online to Epidemic Sound, so I'm going to get some sound effects, just play about with it. I'm going to need to find some good music to go with it. Shouldn't take too long. I should be done by tomorrow, realistically, as long as I work at a good pace. So I'm just going to go back through the video. I'm going to watch it again. Yes, all 30 minutes of the footage. I'm going to watch it all, make sure that there's no mistakes, that it flows right, because that is the main thing I want this to do. I want it to have the entertainment value of what they're doing originally, and then also have that educational element from where Sam Gorski's speaking as well. Okay, so you might be wondering what that was. That was essentially just a quick 15-second preview of what the video is going to entail and what it's going to hold. That will then hopefully not only catch their eye, it will also catch the viewers' eyes themselves if they ever see the video. It basically hooks them in, keeps them watching. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm basically just going through trimming the meat off the bones, trimming the fat off the bones at least, to get a more... I can use B-roll from their other footage as well that they've done before. Just makes it slightly easier to have a look at it. So, okay, so now that bit's done, my next mission is to basically go onto Epidemic Sound and find some good copyright-free music that will basically go over it. I'll probably need about 4 or 5 tracks. In your heart won't fade. The secrets you tell me I'll take to my grave. There's bones in my closet, but you hang stuff anyway. Okay, we're back. Alright, so anyway, before I get too deep into watching this again, I've got the video down to 27 minutes and 47 seconds, so 2 minutes, it's still not brilliant. It's certainly better than it was. Main things we need to pick up at the moment are the B-rolls. So at 41 seconds, we have the crash pad B-roll that I need to do. We then have the cut to Sam sound effect, the B-roll of game models at 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Okay, so some of you might be asking, what exactly is B-roll? And B-roll, how do I put this in perspective? Okay, well essentially, B-roll is simply put secondary footage that can be easily put over your main footage that, even if it wasn't there, wouldn't matter. For example, right now, if I really wanted to, I wouldn't need to have any of this involved in the video itself. I could quite easily just cut all this out and then you'd be none the wiser. But the video would still go on and it would still make sense nonetheless. You just wouldn't understand what B-roll was. go in order, just means that it's easier to do, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So currently what I'm doing, again, little bits of clips every now and then just to scatter around some B-roll whenever there's a conversation going with the educational part. I still feel like I want to trim a bit off. If I could get to 25 maximum, I'll be a lot happier with the video, and then it's just gonna come down to color grading a little bit. And then it's just a case of sending it off. If I can literally just trim off 2 minutes, the timestamp on the video itself just adds a lot to what viewers expect. See, this is the biggest issue with me with sound design. Ow. Okay, so the reason why sound design is so important is because in many different rooms you get a different audio effect. For example, currently we are under this table. So if I was to do this and open up one of the drawers, you'd hear the wood sliding against other bits of wood. Closing it, again, makes a different effect, but because you're under here, the likelihood is that there's a nice little echo. Again, it depends on the room you're in, it depends on the things you're doing. Sound design then comes down to making it sound and look the most realistic you possibly can. If I was in a large hall, you'd expect to hear some echo. So if I was in a studio and I just did this clean piece of audio, it wouldn't make sense to the viewer. The idea of it wouldn't make sense. The viewer might not realise it's there in their head. It's subconsciously gnawing away at them. Otherwise, they just turn the audience off, essentially. So for situations, in a sense, where you're about to, say, hit yourself, such as this, usually you'd expect to hear some kind of noise. The only problem is that noise isn't always just that tiny little. Sometimes it can be like this. See? So that's why audio design is so important. The biggest issue that I have with this is finding that right, like, that sounded quite good. What I might do is I'll play around with the sound itself. That is perfect. Editing on that sound. So again, when it comes down to sound design, when you're editing the sound itself, it becomes a lot harder for you to actually work things out. So again, with the audio, to make it seem more realistic to the viewer so it doesn't have that gnawing effect on the brain, sometimes you have to edit the sounds themselves. And when you edit the sounds themselves, it becomes a little bit difficult because you're not always sure what's going to happen. For example, if there was a big muscly bloke that was about to punch you in the face and he was walking down these cobbled streets, you'd expect to hear some sort of heavy footstep. But if I chose this footstep, it just doesn't sound right. But it is that perfect sort of stepping motion. You can get it working. You just might need to add some little elements to it. Music helps a lot with the way that a person will see the video. So if there's something that you want to emphasize, saying you're playing a really high energetic music, say that they're jumping on the crash pad, for example, they're obviously fighting about yada yada yada. Say for example someone walks in and says something either really funny, really off-putting, or really different, or it is completely changed of subject. So basically it just adds emphasis on whatever's going on in the video itself. Music is very, very easy to screw up in videos, which is why I'm being very, very careful with it. See, again, the difference with transition points, if you just make something black, it's always good to have some sort of sound that the viewer can quite easily pick up on and know that there's a transition point going on. So again, what I've done here is I've got this little bass drop kind of noise. So it's quite obvious that there's some sort of change going on, and because of it, it makes it so much clearer that there's going to be a change of scene.
So what little elements would you add to it? Well, if it was too high pitched, then you could just go into whatever editing software you're on and just play around with the pitch of it. Perhaps make it a little bit deeper if it's for the big muscly bloke I was talking about earlier. Perhaps if it was a woman's high heel, you go in and add this slightly metallic tang to the noise, because it would just, you know, it'd sound more like a high heel. The best way to go around doing sound design is usually Foley. Rather than going online to find some sounds, try and do them yourselves.
And when I say try and do them yourself, the perfect example I have is every single David Attenborough documentary you've seen is a lie. And when I say that,
every sound you've heard, every brush of the wind through the trees as a storm goes off in like a rainforest, every ocean splashing. It's all done in a studio. Okay, so it's currently day 4 of the editing. The main bits that I have to do now is upload the video and make a thumbnail. I can at least show the thumbnail. I'm just gonna get on with it. So we're gonna add some B-roll to this. Yeah, I know, B-roll on top of B-roll. When I say it's done in the studio, I mean in the act of Foley. Foley is quite simply making sounds through your own means to suit a specific audio purpose. For example, as I was saying, the ocean sounds you've seen in the David Attenborough documentaries in Blue Planet, that wasn't recorded on the scene. It's not controlled enough. Us filmmakers and people like that like to have control over what we do. So what they will do is they'll film everything that's going on, they'll head back, they'll watch this studio. Within this studio, they'll have a little set or a stage. And in the stage, they have multiple tools and such as a sand pit, maybe just a bucket of water will do. So what they'll do is they'll grab this bucket of water and they'll fling it into a pool. And why? Because our brains can't distinguish the difference between real life and made audio that we've done for ourselves. Again, rainforest with the wind. What they do is they get some leaves, they smack them together. It's simple. It's simple and easy, but because it's in a controlled environment and we can do it ourselves without having to worry about wind picking up on the audio or having to worry about like we didn't have the audio channels in the right place, it's simple. Anyway, back to the video. So obviously I don't have Photoshop or Lightroom or anything like that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the video, check for a good snapshot of where I can take a quick screenshot of the video itself that will, 1, explain what is going on to the viewer, and 2, also draw the viewership in. Obviously I want to title this the crash pad. So what I've done is I've taken a screenshot of Nico lying down on his back on the crash pad with the camera looking up towards him. So that gives a sort of sense of what the hell's happened. Is Nico okay? In all of their thumbnails, they have the Corridor logo. So I'm going to take that from their YouTube page and just put it in the bottom left so that it shows that I have some initiative. I have this black slate at the top, so it makes it easier to read. It stands out. But yeah, so I think the thumbnail's done. So let's get it uploaded to YouTube. Okay, so the upload's done. My application's done. I've emailed them in the correct format. It's all done. Now it's just a waiting game. Now we just wait and see. If you did like this video, please remember to leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the Fully Focused journey. As always, I'll catch you guys on the next shoot. Bye.